Alrighty, welcome to another edition of the movie podcast.
Yep.
Reel2Real, as it is now called. Ooh. We're here tonight watching a movie. What movie are we watching, guys?
Kiss Kiss
Bang Bang.
And who are we watching it with? My name is Wilson.
I'm Eric.
I'm Tyler.
I'm also Tyler.
Oh shit.
Probably should have done like opposite sides.
Yeah.
Just a Tyler in the front and then Tyler in the back.
No, I'm left Tyler.
If it's
Left Tyler, right Tyler.
if it's in stereo, you'll hear them in separate ears.
Yeah.
And
We'll just call it right Tyler. We'll just call you TK.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully the voices are distinct enough as well that you can pick them out. But Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, not one that I've seen.
No, directed by Shane
Shane
Black,
Black.
and it stars Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer and Michelle Monaghan. And I think it was Michelle Monaghan's kind of entrance to more streamlined and more noticeable things. I haven't seen her in a whole lot of stuff, and this is what I remember her in.
And Shane Black, for those who don't know, wrote the first Lethal Weapon movie and story for Lethal Weapon 2. He did The Last Boy Scout. He did Monster Squad. Did this. He wrote and directed Iron Man 3. And did The Nice Guys recently.
Yep. Same like noir-esque. I think he really thrives with that kind of story.
Yeah, and
Detectives and noir.
his movie coming up is the Predator, the new entry in the Predator series. This was one for me. My buddy told me about it. My buddy Chuck Crane was just like, dude, you gotta see this movie. I was like, all right, okay, I'll watch it. And I ended up just loving the movie.
Yeah, it's got so much like liveliness to it, and so like it's a fun romp through like L.A. at Christmas time, and because it is kind of like a Christmas movie ish. It's like the same vein as Die Hard.
Yeah,
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
in quotes, like it just takes place in Christmas, and there's like Christmas music and things like that.
So this was actually given a standing ovation at Cannes.
At Cannes,
really?
Yeah, the Cannes Film Festival.
It's definitely a name of like a title that I've heard thrown about quite a lot.
It sounds really pulpy, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It really does.
Yeah,
It sounds
I'm anticipating liking it.
The film was originally supposed to be titled LAPI, and then Bang, but Val Kilmer actually suggested to Shane Black that Kiss Kiss Bang Bang would have more appeal. So Val Kilmer named this movie.
That's pretty cool.
And he's one of my favorite parts of this movie, the gay parody.
Oh, Val Kilmer's great in this. I love how he gets so sarcastic, and he's like, he just says one thing. I'm just gonna say, like he goes, "Do you know what you'll find next to the like the word idiot in the dictionary?" And he's like, "What? A picture of me?" "No, the definition of idiot, which is what you are." He's so like smarmy and sarcastic and just so much character. I love it.
They really had some good camera angles in that part of the movie too. You get to see that.
There's so many good parts in this movie. So many dips where you think, wait, this is so bizarre. Like you think you figured it out, but then it total 180. You don't really realize what was going on the whole time. I love it.
Gay Perry is actually generally considered to be the first openly gay character to front a Hollywood action movie. So that's something.
That's something. That's a milestone.
Yeah.
There you go, Val.
Yep. And it took Shane Black a year and a half to write this script because he had writer's block.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be terrible?
Yeah. But I'm so glad that it came out and it was made to this and it came to fruition. It's pretty great.
And it's his directorial debut too. This is the first movie Shane Black directed.
Because he's been a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the highest paid screenwriter for a while.
Really?
For Lethal Weapon. And
Oh,
stuff.
of course. Yeah, because those were just blockbusters.
Yep.
Well, should we check out the fruits of his labors and
Should we get all in it?
see what he gave us?
Might as
Yeah,
well.
I'm excited for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm real excited to get into it and see what it's all about.
I've seen it, but it's been a long time, so I basically haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, let's get into it, boys.
Yep, we'll see you on the other side.
Roll it!
And now, our feature presentation.
corazón.
Mi corazón. Nobody will understand that
let's be
reference.
perfectly honest. Robert Downey Jr. peaked in that movie.
Peak? That was the beginning of his comeback. Though.
That is true.
That was the start of his ascendancy.
Yeah, his ascension.
This is ascension to Tony Stark godhood.
The Robert Downey Jr. parabola started there.
I want to see him in more movies like this, though.
Same here.
Yeah,
I
this,
really.
the main thing about this movie, like having never seen it, is it was not what I thought it was going to be whatsoever.
All right.
Vastly enjoyable, but still, I thought it was going to be very like more fast paced, more like something like Snatch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because especially with the
Everybody has really cool nicknames.
the like cover on the and with the title
Yeah.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, it just seems like it's going to be a little more frenetic and
Yeah.
like fast paced with the action and
You know, you
like
don't
a
think
Snatch,
it's gonna
like
be
a rock and roller, like a
yeah, something kind of like that.
You don't think it's gonna be a noir detective?
No, but it
Lock,
was,
stock, like that style.
Yeah.
Just a Guy Ritchie. Let's
And
just
then
say.
it seemed like it was still going to be a stylized sort of, telling of this noir kind of film, but it seemed a little more with a skew of like an Edgar Wright kind of sensibility with like a humor and a pep to everything, the dialogue and everything. But then like there were moments where it got really real, where
Right.
Robert Downey Jr. shot the guy
And they
in
got
that
real.
bedroom, and like it was.
They did the like they still did your expected tropes in a noir movie, but like they treated
Misdirection.
them almost like and like satirically too. They're just like, I know what you're thinking, like with the narration. The narration's really
Oh, that's fantastic.
It is a proper use of fourth wall breaking.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep.
I mean, he kind of, obviously, like from 2005, he just started doing like what was Iron Man, like the
2008
first one,
Or
2008.
7,
Was it 2008?
Yeah.
7 or 8.
Because I know that in 2008, what did he have?
Yeah, 7 because
was it
this
8
is
or
the
10 that he had
anniversary.
the thing with Zach Galifianakis?
Oh, I
Due Date.
forgot about that.
Due
Yeah,
Date,
that was
yeah.
2010, I think,
Yeah.
or 9.
Yeah, that. I mean, it's like that one was like more comedy, obviously, than
and
anything
Tropic
like that.
Thunder.
Right, Tropic Thunder was. Oh my god, that was hilarious. I love that movie so
I'm
much.
trying to remember. He was in a movie, another holiday movie called Home for the Holidays with Holly
yeah.
Hunter.
Yep.
He plays a gay brother.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
Val
I don't-
Kilmer.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
when
he
that
really
was.
steals this movie. Gay
Yeah,
Perry.
he really
Gay
does.
Perry.
Yeah, give
Robert
it up to
Downey,
Gay Perry.
Robert Downey Jr. is a great foundation to base it off of.
Yep.
And then giving him Val Kilmer and that character to play off of is just fantastic to see. It's a great little combination.
I loved how their relationship kind of was like, they got together, and then Perry's like, "All right, I don't need you anymore. Goodbye."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Okay, I got your phone," and they're still together. And then he pushes him away again. He's in the airport. He's like, "Oh, hey, Flicka."
Yeah.
And he gets more of the knowledge of this whole conspiracy, and then he has to call up Perry. He's like, I got it. I put it together. So like they can't get away from each other
No.
the whole movie.
It's just the perfect like the scene where Robert Downey Jr. just like had heard that what's her fuck had killed herself, and he was all sad and leaning against the car. He's like, all right, gotta go,
Oh, Harmony. Yeah.
I gotta go.
gotta go.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah,
Gotta
thanks.
go.
He's like
Yeah.
patting
Yep.
him like, thank you.
Thank you. And I gotta go.
He
Just keep.
pushes
And then
his
finally,
hat.
just pushes his back away from his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Leaves him there on the sidewalk, just
Oh man.
putzing.
He happened to get shot in a very. He got shot a lot in a very short amount of time. Because he got shot in New York because
Yep,
he
he
actually
got
got
shot.
hit.
Oh,
Shot in the
I
arm.
think that was like a
Winged,
yeah,
but
winged.
I mean that was like 2 days later. He's in L.A., so
Yeah.
he's got a 2-day-old gunshot wound.
Yep.
Then he loses a finger,
Yep.
Um,
He gets beat up too.
beat up.
Beat up by a random guy that he stood up for Harmony.
Yeah, that was the very first thing. Yeah, he got beat up pretty good. Got that little cut on his face, and then he just had a really shitty like week and a half.
Yeah.
Yep. He kept getting hit the whole time.
Oh man, I thought they were gonna do something with like a snatch style, like oh, he gets his finger back from the dog in the end, but nope, his finger's just gone.
I
Yeah.
liked how much involvement Harmony actually had in the movie, because for the first 20-ish minutes of the movie there is no real you don't see the starting threads of the real like case, quote unquote, for the movie coming together. It's just setup of him talking to her and trying to get back to like that connection with her, a little bit of Gay Perry in there, and then with the party that starts to just feel a little bit more of that extended. but then that snowballs into the beginning of the case.
Right.
I guess was that kind of more of the like the very beginning, you know, with the party and like that was actually what they were referring back to later. Was that kind of, I mean, obviously there was no thread to that from up until the party where they, you know, like, or they met at the bar, but I guess was that just kind of setting up like the whole theme of the movie being like narration driven, and it's like, oh, you remember this? Oh, dang, these extras, get them out of the way, you know.
Right.
And so I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this was actually
It's getting
the
you
guy.
used to it before it's used frequent. You know what I mean? Like, because that right away is just, I mean, which makes sense for an intro. You get a bulk of narration right up there, but it's also just the frequency of it right away is just getting you used to it. So then when it pops up again later, it's not as jarring as well.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that Shane Black, he has a lot of motifs of torture in a lot of his movies, like Lethal Weapon. There's torture, and where Mel Gibson, and like there was a scene I think in Nice Guys, maybe where somebody was being interrogated.
Yeah.
I think it was either Russell Crowe barging in on Ryan Gosling's character and getting information out of him. And then in this, there was that torture scene. There's a lot of
torture.
thematics with the Shane Black and torture.
One of my favorite things about the movie too is just how it sews like foreshadowing in so much into it, like in callbacks throughout the movie. Like there's, you know, the part where they're talking like after they think the case is over, they're like, you know, they get captured and tortured.
Yeah, but there's still so many open-ended
kill
questions.
Like 16 guys in the.
Yeah.
Funny thing, I looked it up. They kill 13 guys in there, so it's like as
The
a
body
total,
count is 13 throughout the movie.
just
Yeah.
as a like I'm sure that's like part of it. Is like
Is
you
the
expect
friend
it
is
to
the
be
friend at the
16.
beginning like hinted as one of them, maybe? Like the friend of his that
All
he
the
stole?
It's just the total body count.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that they kind of just like
glance
threw
over that.
Yeah, they really
What?
glazed over that, like
His friend getting killed.
His friend, like, did he actually get killed? Because I mean, he got
He got shot in the face, didn't
did
he?
he get shit in the face? I couldn't really tell because
It
it was
went
like
through
behind him.
Robert Downey's arm, and then the guy like just kind of collapsed on the street.
Well, it looked
Well,
like
he
he
had
did one of
the-
these.
he had
It
the
looked like he did this.
Oh, I
when
didn't
he
even.
got shot.
He had
It
the-
just looked like he got shot.
He had the really like puffy coat that just I got kind of
feathers?
distracted by the
Yeah.
feathers. I didn't really see where like he
the
snapped
down
back.
just
Yeah,
I suppose we're not 100%
Robert Downey
sure.
wearing a down coat.
I like the score of this movie.
Yep.
It was really
Yeah.
good.
Jazzy.
really
Yeah.
jazzy. Every little
Loungy.
subtitle's like, ooh, Latin jazz.
Yeah.
But then there was
Romantic jazz.
There was
Mi
the
corazón.
moment like at the very end during the climax where he's hanging from the interstate, and it was just kind of like
I love that
sort of
sequence.
similar to a John Williams type tension music
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's strings and it was just very good. And like I like how you pointed out the moments sometimes when we were getting narration from Robert Downey Jr. how he was the unreliable narrator kind of
Yeah.
trope where many different times in the movie not only would he break the fourth wall but he would interrupt his own story to bring in something new, like at the very end when you had all the other dead characters coming back with Gay Perry when he
Yep.
made his return. Abe Lincoln is there. Elvis pops his head in.
Yep.
Yep.
So how it would just be interesting to go back through the movie and think like how much of this is through, you know, rose-colored glasses
Right.
or what skew might he be putting on
And
the
he
story
does a
that he's
good
telling
job,
us.
like we were saying, like with how much with all the narration right away in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He sets that up as being the unreliable narrator.
Yeah,
right away,
and did
where
they
he's just
have, like,
oh,
a-
did I forget about this part?
Yeah, did they have a
Oh, yeah.
throwaway line? I don't know if they talked about it, but I always thought it was cool that he talked about how he had really quick hands. That's why he was good at stealing stuff.
Oh yeah.
And like that was his like magic. Like he
Magician,
was
yep.
really good at like
Yep.
doing like
The sleight of hand
really
and
sleight of hand things. That's why he was really good at snagging that gun off of the
Yep.
casket and then just popping him.
And then the snagging the cell phone out of the
Yeah,
air.
he's
like
like,
a
"Hip."
cell phone.
He just knew exactly what to do.
One thing that I've noticed about Shane Black is that with like in both this and in The Nice Guys, he's got kind of similar party scenes, and the way that he does parties is really kind of
Oh yeah, there's
Like-
a big party at the beginning. Nice Guys.
it's a little more laid back or less intensive than other people would get coverage of a party. You know what I mean? It follows the characters going through there, and it might give you a little bit of details of what their surroundings are. but it doesn't specifically point out like, here's this guy over here chugging a beer, or other things in other movies where there's a party going on and they specifically show you all these different things happening at the party.
How he does it too is interesting because like they give you that by putting it in between the camera, like in this movie, between the camera and him. So the ambiance you're getting is there's just these little, vignettes of like these people talking whatever as he's walking by that pool, and it's setting that scenery up just by having that between him and the camera, which is cool.
And that little intro of Harlan Dexter being like, "Ooh, ouch!" Like to Robert Downey's face after he got beat into the pulp. Like he was just like he just comes into frame like, "I'm gonna be the bad guy."
Yep.
Yeah.
Here I am.
I love that.
Yeah, he makes really good use of motion coming into the frame, really like that. Like there was the scene where Gay Perry's trying to wake up Harry, and he throws the shorts or some piece of clothing onto him.
Yeah.
And then it with that motion coming into the frame, it like moves up, and then we keep going with the motion of the movie from that standstill.
Yeah, it forces the start of the movement.
Yeah, it's really good.
What is that? That's like a follow shot or something like that, or because it's always like following the motion of the
roaming
object. Is it roaming?
It should be like classified as roaming because it's like, well, it would go from different phases.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you'd start, I think you would just call it a close up, not an extreme. It's just a close up of Harry, and then if the camera does have motion, it goes into like a fly cam rig where it's just a smooth, steady cam, and it's a follow through. So it's just
Yeah.
There's different terminology.
There's I'm especially thinking about the Nice Guys in this with their similarities of being a more laxed, kind of realistic look at a noir style story. They both kind of have that meandering type feel to it where you're going with them and you're following along, but there's no like they don't set up in the beginning, this is the heist or this is the threat or this is the countdown. There's no ticking clock or there's no like immediacy to things, but it's fun to follow through and like get the details as these guys are getting them.
Right, because it's almost like instead of like actively finding this stuff, it's like they almost just stumble upon all of their information as they find out, and so it's not just like so it really makes it so it's like you're along for the ride with them.
Yeah,
too.
it's the movie's very LA. I think Shane Black did a great job. Just he's really good at basing things in LA.
Yeah.
He, for example, like all the characters in this seemed like they had a dual personality. Like Flicka, she was a stewardess, but she totally looked like an actress.
Yep.
They have the guy that worked at the sanitarium, or the guy that Robert Downey just shoots after doing the bluff. He totally looked like he could have been like an actor of some kind. Like he didn't look like he belonged at that position.
Yeah.
Right.
They all had this like air about them. Like they could be actors. They could just be like a figment of his like envisioning, like Robert Downey's, since he's like having this in his head and he's basically telling you the story. He could envision them in such a way to paint that picture. Like everybody in LA is fake.
Right.
Nobody's real here, because it's like the movie is about mistaken identity for the most part.
Yep.
Somebody thinks their sister was killed for this reason, but it turns out that that's false. And then it turns out that it was a mistaken identity because this guy wanted to get his wife's $1 million.
Yeah.
So they did this switcheroo with this other girl. So it's everybody is necessarily fake within the catalyst of the movie.
Right.
Do you think it would have been interesting if they would have like actually split it, even if it was only into 3 different like point of views, like Robert Downey Jr. doing the narration, but then switching over to Harmony's point of view?
That'd be like a Rashomon style, point of view style.
You could definitely have it where like they're very distinct points of view. Like Harry's is obviously like semi-aloof, but still kind of like, oh my god, what's going on? I'm along for the
whole thing.
Along for the ride.
And he's very unreliable because
Right.
he's drunk throughout it, so he has blackouts. He's on Demerol, so he's just like all
drugs, he's lost
flipped
his
out.
finger.
Yep.
So
He has no idea what's going
Perry
on.
trying to hold everything together.
Right, and you could even like just doing it with like musical differences, like you got all the kind of like jazzy sort of stuff with Harry, and then you could have like the just really slow kind
R&B stuff with Perry.
of R&B stuff with Perry, and then I was thinking
Smooth
with
Perry.
with
Perry.
Harmony, it might be a little bit disjarring between the other two, but I think it's still kind of like good maybe having like just even the a little more frantic kind of
Yeah.
pace to
Because
things.
she's more
she's
goes
like
head
thrown
first
in the
into
deep
shit.
end.
Well, and that's very indicative of her character, though. Like, she's always following down the lead and taking that lead and using it as a step to jump over the next hurdle or to find the next lead. You know what I mean? She never stops moving with her momentum of trying to track down this case. And even in that scene of where she's telling Harry like what just happened. She's smoking the cigarette and she's just freaking out, telling him what happened.
She has these conspiracy theories. She's like, "What
Yeah,
about
she's-
the pill, man?
She's going like a
what about
mile
the
a minute.
pill?
And then
she's so intense and like
She took her pill, man."
it leaves Robert Downey, or it leaves Harry with the two sides of what he's dealing with Perry being the more business safety minded,
And he's being fake
And-
too. He's trying
and
to play the
her-
part of
yeah.
a detective after he
and
told
her
Flick he was.
being headstrong and going like head first into shit.
Yeah.
He's got to find some.
Well, and he's got to
middle
keep
ground,
his
'cause
lie. He
wants
has got to
to-
keep his lie in the deal
He wants
too.
to do more than what Perry wants him to.
Yeah.
But he does not want to do as much risk as
That's the
Harmony
thing. He
is.
says that to Harmony when she's waiting for a taxi, and she asks him straight out like, "Why?" And he's basically like, "Oh, I just wanted to be around you. Like, I just made the lie because I wanted to be closer to you.
Yep.
So I took under
And
the
then-
facade of being
And
So,
a
then, yeah,
detective."
she's just like, no, you've got the wrong idea. You know, you've always had this opinion of me, and that's not the real thing.
Yeah.
And so earlier, Tyler, you had pointed out that you like to look for themes of movies.
Oh yeah, first like Star Wars and stuff.
And I think that this one not only is it like a mistaken identity, like you said, but projecting yourself as someone that you're not. Because I was just thinking about it. Every single person in this movie
Definitely.
does that to somebody else, or just
Yeah.
in general, where you have Harry pretending to be protective to Harmony. You have Harmony like when she says to Harry, "I'm not the person that you think I am. You think I'm awesome, and I'm really not." You have Perry pretending that Harry's going to be a successful actor and like pretending to be helping him, like or Dexter. He comes in there and he's just like, "Oh, ouch! I'm the nice guy. I'm not the bad guy in this movie."
I'm
Like,
just a cool
every
happening guy.
everybody.
This is
And
my
I-
party.
I guess in that way, then, is it like trying to frame up like, oh man, this is L.A., this is crazy. you know, like-
Nobody's who they say they are.
yeah, again, dual identity. You know,
It's like if you've seen Vertigo.
Think about
Oh,
this too.
that's
He was
what I was gonna
talking.
say.
He was talking to somebody on the phone, and no, they're open. It's holiday hours. He's pretending to be somebody that he's not.
Yeah.
and they never explored that. It was just like, you know, somebody on the phone twice.
Yeah.
You know, I'm assuming it was like a niece or something like that.
There's
possibly.
there's
Never went
another
into it.
reference to the plot of the movie earlier on. The motel that they stay at. This is one of the little tidbits I read on IMDb. But the
No
lights
vacancy?
flashing no vac. They're talking about Kim Novak, who's in Vertigo. What was it?
Yeah.
Novak?
Yeah.
She played a woman who was a double for someone who got murdered.
Yep.
I noticed that the flashing of those those letters, and I was like, that seems like it's too specific to be in here without it
Yep.
being.
Yeah. So that's
Interesting.
the other Vertigo connection there as well.
Yeah. Because the guy, Jimmy Stewart's character, is led down this path by this other guy saying, "Hey, follow this person," but it turns out that that person is pushed off a bell tower or something like that, and he thinks that it's this girl, but then he finds another girl that does the same daily routine as the girl he was following before. So it's like they're the same person. So he like makes her dress up like the girl that he fell in love with, and like
Yep.
This
forcing his
Like-
perception of this perfect woman on this other girl.
it's interesting how Shane Black could make a world feel very real and similar to ours, but also kind of larger than life at the same time.
Right.
Where like this seems like in LA where on the news reports of them finding bodies and stuff like that, it doesn't seem like it's that out of place. Or a car driving through the middle of a park to try and run somebody over doesn't seem that out of place. Or the stuff in Lethal Weapon happening, like everybody just kind of takes it on the cuff, and yeah, they shake their fists at like Riggs and kind of rebel at the commotion. And even in The Nice Guys, it's a world that is it's kind of like GTA in a way.
Yeah, it's really
Where it's-
fantastical and really just
So-
bizarre.
Yeah,
Was this actually Shane Black's directorial
Yeah.
debut?
Yeah.
And he was a writer on it.
Yes, he
He wrote the
started as a
screenplay, yeah.
screenwriter.
He wrote the screenplay of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
he
Okay.
was. He started as a screenwriter.
But it was based on a book too.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. And they actually were thinking about having Harrison Ford for the detective role, but he passed on it.
Gay Perry.
Having Harrison
That would
Ford
be
as
awesome
Gay
because
Perry.
Harrison,
Well, also-
Harrison Ford loves wearing those earrings. You know?
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
originally Johnny Knoxville was set to star as Harry,
Huh.
but
Really?
they replaced him with Robert Downey Jr.
He'd rather do
Oh,
Dolce
'cause-
Calhoun or something.
I guess I wonder how that kind of went down. Like,
You'd
where,
rather do Walking
you know,
Tall.
it's
Yeah.
you know
It might have
Robert
been the
Downey
same year,
Jr. fresh off of
2005.
his
Or
little
Dukes or something.
This is
Yeah.
when nobody would
quote
take a chance
unquote
on him.
hiatus.
They didn't want him.
No, they didn't. But then he smashes it at Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and
You
then
can kind
he
of
just
see
rides the roller coaster perpetually upwards from that point forward.
you can kind of see some of his Tony Stark
Oh,
in
beginnings of it.
Harry Lockhart here, like and that's probably just
Well, but
due
I
to
think
like
it's
natural
because
Robert
it's
Downey
Robert
Jr.
Downey
The,
Jr.
the,
Yeah,
the
but,
fast
like,
talking.
Yeah, he's just a fast talker in every movie.
But that's interesting how he can play those two characters by using his own aspects, and while you can recognize those aspects as being the same, the characters are not the same.
He's very snarky. A lot of Robert Downey Jr. can be just dwindled down to snarky man.
Snarky man that talks fast.
Snarky man enters room, talks fast,
And,
leaves
and,
everyone bewildered.
One-liners and
you know, quips.
really snippy. Yeah.
Starts talking a sentence looking one way and then finishes it looking right at you.
Yep.
Can I'd like to know everybody's thoughts if you can think of something in this movie that worked against it.
Against it.
Like just anything in particular. If it doesn't matter what it is, just anything anything specific. I've been trying to think of something.
Like plot-wise.
you mean
No,
something
just
that
anything at all. Editing. You didn't like a music choice. I'm just curious. I think.
you got one?
But this is a very, very small and minor nitpick. I feel like this movie could have been done in like a couple of different ways than the style it was done, and still be successful. And like it might have been refreshing to not have such a snarky directorial and writing flair. You know what I mean? A tiny bit more straightforward, maybe with different casting or different dialogue or different writing or something like that. A tiny bit more straightforward. But again, I'm not saying that would be a better movie. It'd be a different movie. And I don't think that this movie was bad in any degree.
No,
I can't think of anything specific
Nothing-
bad to say, so I'm
nothing
kind of just
worked
spitballing
against
here.
it.
Like,
because to me, like there's little things like how like we were saying, like the quick turnaround from him getting with in that robbery he was committing and his friend possibly dying, and then to the next one, and then you have no idea what happened, like that stuff. But that isn't important. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not a
Right.
big deal.
well, something like that, I guess.
It's just something that's just like, huh?
Or like when he is
It's nothing that works against the movie.
when his
actually.
finger gets kind of ripped
Oh,
off,
yeah.
and he falls asleep in the car, but then wakes back up hours later in the house and is walking around and doing stuff. It's like I think he would be in kind of serious trouble from blood loss
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, it's like it's suspension of disbelief stuff.
But that's
and-
fine.
yeah.
That's fine. Very
Yeah,
very
nothing
minor
major.
things.
Nothing major
No.
comes to mind for me.
Yeah.
No, it's
No,
just
not
the way
really.
the way it moves is very deliberate. And
It's the very
it seems natural.
pulpy, very noir-ish movie flow. Like it
Yeah.
has those dips and it has those peaks.
And I love that too, where they'll go from just like talking normal, and then all of a sudden there'll be a line thrown in there that's just like a classic noir type.
Oh yeah, of
line,
course.
You know?
It reminds me of like the dialogue in Brick. Have you seen that? The
Oh.
Ryan Johnson Brick.
Yep.
It's just all just that style of talking, that smooth jive talk. Like
Yep.
how they just like, man, I'm a 1/8, and he's just doing all this really weird vernacular, this weird vocabulary from way back, and it doesn't make sense in the
Current context.
with the high schoolers using it.
Yeah.
Like it's just bizarre.
Yep.
One thing I do like about this movie just in general is that there are some movies like The Witch or Donnie Darko or even like Monty Python's The Holy Grail or something like that. Sometimes I feel like I have to be in a specific mood to want to watch them, or a certain state of mind.
Yep.
This is one that like if it was on or if I just saw it on the shelf, I could watch it in almost any like mood or state of mind
Yep.
and enjoy it.
And you forget that it's based in Christmas.
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie. The beginning is Christmas, and then at the very end, he's like, "Hey, that's how I spent my last Christmas." Like,
Right. It was Christmas.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I get. For me, I think it was just kind of like the jarring kind of. I don't know. The narration part was funny, of course. It was a little kind of like, I don't know, odd. I guess, like, for like narrators breaking the fourth wall kind of thing. You think of like Fight Club.
yeah, he should have done it more throughout.
Yeah,
More because it seemed like it would. Yeah, well, recent ones with like Deadpool. It's just the
frequency you get it right away.
It's jarring
compared to.
Oh yeah,
right. It spaces it out
all front-loaded.
infrequently.
Yeah.
It's really front loaded. Obviously, like the setup is important, and that makes it great. It's just I think maybe a little bit more at the end. Just to kind of like maybe facilitate. Just kind of always having that sense of you're being told this story from a narrator's perspective, because it really falls off right around like the last
Right.
the parts where
30 minutes of the movie where it's just like talking about like, oh, we're suddenly moving really fast, like, oh, we got Dexter, we got the mental hospital, we got the guy in the parking lot, and it's just
I loved how
That's why.
it seemed to be like he was narrating, but it also seemed to be like his internal monologue too.
Yeah.
Like when he was ogling her nipple slip that was happening.
Yeah.
It looked like he was like
that part was funny.
he was like thinking what
Yeah.
he was talking about. So it was really funny.
And I would have loved to have heard what he thought about, like in that moment where he was doing, he
He's
did
like,
the,
this was probably a really bad idea. But,
boom, like, and then post like doing the math, thing, and it's just like talking about 8, you multiply it and you got 8%. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
That was great.
Where did you learn math? But I think that was on purpose. Was because of the fact that once that action really gets going, any time that you break from it is gonna
Yeah.
deflate. You know what I mean?
It
And
really
I think that's
is.
why mainly it's not there.
because
as
you can
much
see
in the
you can
beginning.
see the
'Cause
story
it's just
coming.
getting going in the beginning and getting you revved up. But once
Yeah.
you hit that climax area of it, you can't
Anytime
break it up.
anytime that like all the stuff on screen just kind of like takes a pause and you hear one guy, and there I was, dude. It's like, oh, okay.
There
takes
was,
you out.
just side note, 2005 had a lot of really big movies in it. Chronicles of Narnia, Harry Potter Goblet of Fire, Walk the Line, Batman Begins, King Kong, Brokeback Mountain, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Jarhead, Wedding Crashers, The New Chocolate Factory, Amityville Horror, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I'd call most of
Sin
these
City?
notable.
Notable, well,
Big releases.
I
or,
mean, well, a lot of stuff, like a lot of
Important in different ways.
marketing,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big like
yeah.
and also Constantine, because I love that movie. But yeah, I mean, overall,
this was kind of under the radar during that.
Oh, it was.
Oh, yeah,
They
well, that-
opened
I
in,
guess-
like,
I guess maybe that
100-some
was-
theaters.
that was more what I was trying to like say. Was
Oh
like,
no, I never saw this in theaters.
So nobody like knew about it until later.
Yeah, I don't remember where I saw it, but I was just like, I'm definitely gonna buy this, and I do have it at home.
I said it was just because my friend was a big movie fan, and I was just like, "Hey, you should watch this."
I bet
Yeah.
that if you took a general poll and you asked people to name their favorite like movies based around LA or movies based around Christmas, this probably wouldn't end up on there for most people.
no.
But
Because they
like
don't
you said,
know
it
about
flew under the radar.
But if you watch it online or if you see it on TV, it's like, yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, we watched this on Amazon, so it's on Amazon if you got that.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I think it's on
that's-
Hulu also.
That's one thing about these discussions that we have is that we definitely recommend that you watch the movie as well.
Yeah.
Oh, heck
Form
yeah.
your own thoughts.
And
'cause
this
is
one
kinda just
especially, just because this is a good movie.
Yeah.
It was a good ass movie.
Some of the movies we watched you can probably skip, but
Yeah.
this one is I'm like, this isn't about review or grading. It's just discussion. But this one is definitely a recommendation. I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
I would never like say, oh man, no, I don't want to watch that. It's like, oh yeah, I haven't watched that in a while.
So
It's
it's
a good one
yeah,
to-
every
You wanna
time-
watch
every
Kiss
time I
Kiss
see
Bang
it,
Bang.
I was like, I was looking for a specific movie like a couple months ago, and was just like tearing through all the different areas of my house that have my movies, and like I was just flipping through. I was like, oh shit! Like I found my DVD copy of it. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna set this aside because I gotta watch this later. Like it's every time I see it, I'm always thinking like I need to watch this.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear a commentary track for this movie.
Yeah.
hear a little bit more about production and just some
Oh yeah,
insights.
I really haven't even looked on. I have it
How-
on the Blu-ray disc. I don't
how
even
sh-
know what
how-
features
how-
are on it.
Yeah, how Shane Black felt as his first directorial debut.
Yeah.
You know, that's
This is
a big
Working
one.
with
Well,
Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr. This is his favorite movie he's
I mean,
done.
because they went over budget too when they were
yeah.
making it, because they had a tiny budget.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, for movies like what, 10
It's
million?
pretty small scale.
10 million,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they convinced them to go up another 5 to
Yeah.
finish it. So I mean, Robert Downey Jr. coming off of his whole hiatus,
That was just it,
first
like,
directorial debut.
There were names that people knew. Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr. were both huge at one point.
Yeah,
But they were
big
both
names.
at the time just in kind of a
Yep.
nebulous space.
Yep.
Batman and Iron Man,
Yep. Batman, Iron Man, and Michelle Monaghan.
the
voiced,
billionaire playboys together, detecting together.
Detectiving together, yeah. And Michelle Monaghan voiced Wonder Woman in Justice League War, the animated movie.
How about that?
So they've all dipped their toes
Into superhero
in
dumb.
the superhero font,
That's great.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I think I don't know about you guys, but I'm about to go take 2 Demerol. Get on the same level as Harry Lockhart.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
feed my finger to a dog.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's a good one.
yeah.
And let him console me afterwards.
Sorry
Go-
about that.
I'm gonna go hang off a freeway from a coffin. That'll be fun.
That's still one
What
of
about
my
you?
like visually one of my favorite parts of that goddamn movie.
Groucho's gonna go shoot a sanitarium worker.
Maybe that is my one thing. The biggest suspension of disbelief. Her in the coffin with the lid open.
No
Like,
rigor
she
mortis,
prob- she
just
doesn't-
floppy arm.
Yeah, floppy arm, and then also she's not tied down in there.
No.
How is he holding on to her? Like,
Yep.
what's going on?
Maybe.
Oh well.
Maybe that was like
It
the
looks
hidden,
cool, TK.
that was the hidden
looks
plot.
cool.
She was actually
that's
alive.
That's a very
Yeah, the
good
whole time.
like.
She was alive.
true,
There's
though.
just
Yeah.
That's a good like visual representation. Just that image of like him hanging from the arm from the coffin with the gun on top.
I
like,
wish
on
I
the
could have
freeway.
caught the
That's a good like just show that
The
to somebody
first-
like oh,
the
yeah,
markings
kiss,
on the
bang, bang.
sign, like what exit it was or whatever, like the miles to wear. Like maybe
Yeah.
it just said something really bizarre.
The first time I saw it, I thought like somehow like because they they focus on the fucking on it coming out,
Her arm.
It looks like it
and
just
then
flew
landed.
right off the
But, like,
the
bef-
bridge, like just
Yeah.
gone.
The door opened, and then it clapped shut.
At first, I was just like, did what's her fuck get out in there?
Harmony.
Before we see, Harmony. Before we see that she's fine, and then after that whole thing, we see her, and then Harry falls down, and grabs the arm as he's falling. It's like, what if she was in there? And then he falls, and then she reaches out, and then he grabs her.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
She's the magician's assistant. It
Yeah,
all
dude.
ties back to the beginning.
perfect.
She's there to support
She
him.
was
He's
in the box,
abracadabra, she's
ready to be
Alakazam.
chainsawed. Yeah.
Yeah. You're Harry the Great.
I almost thought that they were gonna like come back to
Come
that.
back to
Like
the
they were gonna
chainsaw,
have
yeah.
her tied up or something, and somebody. Was
They did. They didn't come.
They
back to
called
that,
back with
but they
the
called
thing
the-
she
the
said.
speech.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Save me
her
from this
little-
plight, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Woo.
Well, that's the sign that we should be getting out of
Curtains.
here.
Yeah, I guess
Lights
so.
just flickered a little bit.
Okay.
I'm spooked.
All right.
Well.
Yeah, that's a good place to call it then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank
Happy
you.
watching, everybody.
exactly. Have a good night.
Good night.
Mi corazón.
Mi corazón.